Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Big up, happy, about to say Monday, because I didn't do a show on Monday yesterday, at least not here on United Spurs of America. But hey, how you doing? Happy Tuesday. We're chugging and plugging along through the week. Hope you're doing well. Chewy will join whenever the fuck he wants to, I guess. And there's already an F-bomb in the first 5 minutes. I gotta be better. I gotta do better. But how y'all doing? I hope you do it better than I am at introducing this show. As you know, episode 164 of the Immaculate Series, better known as the Untitled Series. But how's everybody doing? March the 5th? How are we already in March? Feels like we just left January, but alas, we are here. You are here. I am here. Got a couple of guests that I might be bringing out. Look, hey, things been moving, things been grooving, and while we can, we gotta take advantage of those things. But real quick, let me say hello to everyone in the chat. Hey, my guest is backstage. One of my guests is backstage. And what a guest it is. Because if you came on over from the Hotspur Hippie raid, thank you so much. But we've got him in the house, live and direct. Let me see about this. What's going on, Paul? How you doing, man? I can't hear you.
There you go. I'll press that button. There we go. Is that better? What's that?
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah, I hear you now. Hey, you're doing just. I dropped the F-bomb within 3 minutes of the show starting, so I'm doing well too.
It doesn't matter. You can do it as long as you don't do it within 7 seconds. You can coin it. You can cash in, man. It's all right. No yellow, no yellow dollar sign for you. I was just going to say thanks to Elvis G and Kuva for the super chats because I forgot to say that bit.
Big up Elvis G, big up Kuva, supporting the Hotspur. And you know, the more you support the Hotspur Hippie, the more you get the Hotspur Hippie. It's kind of a collateral effect. Man. Yeah, and it is encouraging indeed. Look, there's a few things that are encouraging about Tottenham Hotspur, Paul, and I know that you see them too. First of all, your background, I love it. It's fantastic.
Is the audio all right? Do you want me to use headphones or is it cool?
It sounds good to me.
Okay. Nice.
Everything sounds good on my end, so I think everything's good.
Oh no, look, I've got half a Chewy.
You got half a Chewy. You need to update. You need to get the CUTI in the background now. That's the newest edition.
I'm in your spare room. You haven't given me a CUTI shirt.
Oh,
yet.
Yeah, that's right. I need to buy the CUTI shirt. That's right. Because we got Paul. Yeah. He is here in El Paso, Texas, as you can see in our Studio B. Because that's how big this channel. Paul, we've told you before about don't do all right. No, you're not supposed to do that, Paul. What are we doing? Oh, man. So good to have you on the channel, not just sitting in your car as well. Although, I
know, man. It's just, I can just keep
Here's the thing. I actually really like it when you're in the car. It's like we've got a roving reporter, you know what I mean? Out in the streets, ear to the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, outside Crystal Palace's training. But I like, because I had to piss off, I got the Uber ding, so I had to go. Was it yesterday? So, but it's nice just to be nice, relaxed in your spare bedroom.
Yeah, very nice.
I think there's someone living in the wall. I'm hearing noises, man.
Just, hey, don't knock because they will knock back. Oh, man. We might have 2 more different guests that join us during the show, but you know what? The meat of the show is talking about Sonny as a number 9 and where our future is and what everyone kind of thinks in that regard. Obviously, we have Aston Villa coming up on the weekend, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But there was something else I wanted to talk about, and it's unfortunate that I used his photo in yesterday's thumbnail, or else I would have used it in today's. But there was something that got brought to my attention, Paul. And I know that there's things that get brought to your attention, and sometimes you're thinking, well, at least for me, I think, how dare they say CUTI Romero is so rash? How dare they say he's a bozo? I go on Rivals, they say he's an idiot.
Still going on about
he's a bozo.
No, is that still a thing? Is it?
Well, here's the thing. We've got a quote from CUTI Romero on receiving 0 yellow cards in 2024. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know.
In the year of 2024, he has 0 yellow cards.
0. Ten Hag has got more yellow cards than CUTI Romero.
And there's something else that I wanted to bring up, and it's in a group chat, but I'm just gonna say it because it's probably easier than me trying to spend the time to figure and sort it out. But I got sent in David, the Irish Hotspur group chat, there was these pictures that someone was sending, and it was just names of players, lots of names of players. And then they said, all of these names that you've just seen have less goals than Cristian Romero. So, I mean, I was going just scrolling, like never. It was a lot of names, Paul.
Has he got more goals than Anthony or someone like that? There's some like weird names in. There's one of our players that's got more goals than Anthony, and it's not a player that you wouldn't expect. It's like, what the fuck?
Anthony has 0 goals, so literally you could name anybody.
Well, there you go.
you could literally name anybody, and you'd be correct. So, big up to Bugs31 grabbing the new membership. How you doing, Bugs? Bugs31, that's a new name in the chat. I hope you're doing well. Upgraded to the, I believe that say upgrade. Bugs, did you change your name? It says upgraded membership to the Talk to Me Nicely Club. Big up. Hey, hang on. What am I going to do? Here we go. Here's some fireworks. I was going to take a drink of some coffee. I said, fuck it. Here's some fireworks for you, Bugs. There's a middle finger from Paul. You see, you don't just get fireworks and a middle finger. Because, no, but see, that's the thing, Paul. We need to find a way to differentiate myself from all the other Apple user fuckers, because shout them out, Sod from the Football Corner 97, but hang on, I'm going to move this just a little bit. I had this adjusted to Kuva's size. There we go. It was bothering me. I don't know why. I want to see all of your face, Paul. I don't want to cover any of it. But big up Bugs31. I forgot what the hell I was going to tell you. I had a good. There was something I was going to say. Could someone remind me what the fuck I was just talking about? 'Cause Paul's over here.
I think you were going to say you've got the same amount of Premier League goals as Anthony.
Yeah, none. And he's got, I think, 1,000 more minutes than me, so it's quite crazy. Damn. Well, God, Paul
Romero. No? Boots?
It's always about Romero. You know what? I have no idea anymore. We'll move along. Let me say hello to some people in the chat. We've got 70 people across all 3 platforms. Big up, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. Big up, Books31 says I upgraded. Hey, big up. Appreciate that. Do
you have the same affliction as me, Jacob, where I'll like say something in the chat, or I'll say something, and then I'll go to the chat messages, and they're all talking about what I said or giving me information. I can't remember what the fuck they're on about. And it's like 5 minutes later, and I have no idea.
No, that happens to me about every show, every single show. I don't know how many there have been. There's been 164 of these fucking episodes, and I would say, every single 164 at least minimum on this channel is me being like, "What are you talking about there?" You know, like big up Paul Brown, first person in the chat today. Probably replying to something I said 5 minutes ago, and I'll be like, "The hell are you talking about, Paul?" Big up Luke.
It just ends up looking like you're gaslighting chat when you do it.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, what the fuck are you lot on about, you weirdos?
Apparently I'm an asshole, but you know, what I was saying, I was about to knock it out the park, Paul. I was about say. There it goes. Let's say hello to some people in the chat. Ryan Gloria, hello. How you doing, Ryan Gloria? Chris Agambar. Big up Jacob and everyone in the chat. Big up Derek Smith coming on over from that hippie raid. Big up Totspurs. It also doesn't help that my son's near nap time and he's just screaming at the television in the living room. That also doesn't help my attention span. But big up Totspurs as well as
change it over from forensic files. Put something kiddie friendly on it.
Forensic Files? Is that your first kiddie friendly program you thought of? Was the Forensic Files. That's fantastic. Big up David Calvino, Alan Bennett in the house. Panda Ball's here. Big up Panda Ball says, "Man, you're on early today." Yep, life would dictate as such. Big up Zapur says, "Kane just saved Bayern's UCL run." Yes, he did. I think he had a brace or hat trick, something like that. Big up David Calvino, Swim Master Liam Hardy. How you doing, Gina? Evening Spurs, yay! New episode. We're bringing it to you live and direct. Gina, how you doing? Panda Ball's here. Israel Uncovered Amir, how are you doing? Paul is back in the studio. Look at that. We did bring him back to El Paso, Texas. Yes, sir. You already know. Paul G says, big up everyone. Big up Paul G. Audio's all good here. Everyone's excited to see some Paul. Big up Jaw Dank. Mr. Frenetti, big up to you. Panda Ball says, I'm launching my show this weekend. Big up Panda Ball. Good luck with the launching of the show, my
nice
friend.
one, man. Good luck.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out. Let me know when that's happening. Again, big up Bugs for grabbing that membership. Big up Future Music says, hey, Jacob and Paul, how are you doing, Future Music? Good to see you. I think I already said hello to Ryan Gloria, but how are you doing? Dyer playing his heart out. That's things you love to hear. TKA's in the house. Big up Yaku,
doesn't he?
Yeah, he'll give you that once. Big up. I think I already said hello to Paul G. Alan Bennett's in the house. Swim Master says, question for Paul. Some Spurs channels, not me, saying Ainge not now playing Ainge ball as we're at the start of the season. I assume the high press, non-stop attacking play. What do you think, Paul?
Oh, what a load of bollocks. What a load of bollocks. I don't know. What do people want? What do people want? I mean, what the fuck is Ainge ball anyway? I don't really like that phrase. I know everyone says it. I'm on my own. Attacking football. What, we weren't playing attacking football against Palace. We were parking the bus, were we?
I think people want something catchy and zingy to say, in regards to...
As opposed to football.
As opposed to this is Ainge Postecoglou playing... managing football. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. Big up TK. Big up Felipe. Rob Frank in the house. Big up to you, Rob Frank. Patty Hartnett. Afternoon, gents. Good to have you on a normal hour, buddy. Hey, good to see you here. This was all dictated because of my wife, so it wasn't my doing. I only go live when... What's that?
Meow.
What'd you say? Meow? Meow. Oh, I see what you... You dirty dog, Paul. McLaughlin is here, says Kane exploded on everyone's face. Hey, yo. First and foremost, that's a little yo. Ronald M says hello from Kentish Town, North London. Big up Ronald. Big up to David Shear. As always, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Shear. Dermatron, hey. Big up to my fave YouTubers. Hope you're all okay. Big up Dermot. We're doing great. Hey, how are you doing? Gonna have to get you on sometime this week, buddy. Big up Kuva with the super chat. Says, big up Jacob. Here's a little something for the baby fund. I'll try and get on after I finish my recycling done for the morning.
Casey, Mr. Kuva, I forgot to thank you for your super chat. So thank you at the end of the stream again. Sorry, Jacob, it's your show.
You know what? I appreciate you saying thank you to Kuva. Why don't you do that, Paul? Now you look up.
I was in trouble.
You look up. No, bro. What? Show me the evidence.
Where's it?
Show me the evidence, Paul. Yeah. Where's the receipt?
This is the Metropolitan Police. We've flown over El Paso. We want evidence and receipts. We have a warrant.
We want the evidence. Well, big up Kuva, first of all, for the super chat, my friend. And secondly, for giving away one of my surprise guests, and I believe I have I do have another guest. Someone who's been on the channel quite frequently, and one of my personal favorites. You ready for this, Paul? I see the suspense in your eyes. Let me see how I'm going to do this. What layout am I going with? Here we go. We've got Alex, hello, Mr. Box Office in the house. Alex, how are we doing?
I'm good. How's everybody? How's Jacob? How's Paul? How's Paul?
Yeah,
man?
all right, man.
Yeah. You good, yeah?
Yeah.
You good, yeah?
Yeah, everyone's doing good. Everyone's good. Just getting ready for Aston Villa, and I had some tweets and stuff that I wanted to go through and some subject matter that I wanted to go with. But first and foremost, Alex, you doing good? How are you? Everything in your neck of the woods? Hope you're too blessed to be stressed, my friend.
Oh, I'm always good. I'm good. Like, confused about the fan base, but I'm good. I was at the game on Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. It is what it is. I don't think we're we're great. I don't think we're good. But you know, we won the game, and that's in it really for me. I'm kind of done this season for me. I know what I'm getting now. I just know. I just know what I feel at the moment. No one's changed my mind, being honest. But I'm just.
Well, we can get
confused.
into it.
Yeah.
We'll ease on into the subject matter. As you know, I don't. There's Chewy. He decided to show up for the show, so everybody say hello to Chewy. He decided to actually make his appearance on the channel. But big up, Kuva, got some love here from the chat saying what's up to Alex. Big up to Alex. Big up Letty, how you doing? The Outlaws here says, is this the guy that doesn't like Ainge? I think you'd have to go to Alex.
I don't like Ange. No, just so we could just get it clear, because I'm just getting bored of people asking me that question now. Not you, Jacob. Sorry to interrupt you, but because I'm so bored of what's gone on so far, I'm saying I can't stand him now because of getting fed up of answering that question now. But that's the way I feel at the moment. At the moment,
Well, you know what? You know what, Alex? At least you're coming out and saying it, because there's people out there that are using word sophistry. They're alluding to it, and then when someone says you don't want Ainge, they say, no, I never said that. At least you're saying it, man. So,
Paul, this is no dig at you, by the way, Paul, because you've been an absolute gentleman. You've been an absolute gentleman through the whole thing. I've always bigged you up. I've bigged up Kuva. I've bigged up Asmatic, who all love Ange. But I'm sick of it now.
You feel how you feel, man,
I'm just sick of it now.
And this is the thing. Like, big up the Outlaw says this guy's negative. Look, he's allowed his opinion. I've never tried to make this place an echo chamber. I've always just had people on who, first and foremost, I like, who I think are good people. And regardless of his opinion, if I agree, disagree, to me, doesn't change the fact that I think Alex is a really great guy. So while he may say things that we don't all agree with, while he may say things that some may say is negative, some may say is this, that, and the other. I mean, you could label it however you want to label it. I like Alex. I think he's a good guy. Him and I are friends. And hey, he was able to make he was able to make the show tonight. So he's always welcome to speak his truth on my platform. And that's just how I feel about it. But big up George for gifting a membership. Let me see who got that membership real quick. Letty. Big up Letty. The mod, Letty and Puka. Gifted a membership by George. Pick up George. I do appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. And this is not true. Staffy's lying. If this video gets 100 likes, I will not shave my head. That is not the case. If I get 100 likes, this dog will get to eat dinner. That's the threat. So you want this dog to eat or not? Hit the video and to hit a like. So big up Staffy for that.
Yeah,
look,
I'm relying on you getting 200 likes, because my Chewy, I haven't been feeding him, and it's only half a Chewy left. He's been eating himself.
You're running out of Chewy.
Yeah,
I think. Look, guys, there's something I want to talk about before we talk about Son. And I see this question from Patty. I'm going to save that, Patty. I do want to talk about something first. I want to talk about Cristian Romero, and I want to get Paul's perspective. I want to get Alex's after that. So, Paul, in regards to Cristian Romero, in the summer, a lot of people were saying this is the year where he has to show that he can be the leader. He can step up and be that guy and be calm and not be rash and diving into tackles and getting red cards and etc. Obviously, whenever match week it was, we played Chelsea, we ended up giving away a red card. What do you think of Cristian Romero and at least his performance so far this season as a vice captain? And when Son and Madison have been gone, he's been asked to be the captain. What do you make of him so far? His lack of yellows in the year of 2024, to me, that speaks volumes to the point that I've been making all along, that he's not rash, that these agendas against him are wrong. Paul, I want to know what you think.
I never had that opinion about him in the first place, about him being rash. I think the problem that was apparent at Tottenham was that when we did get a suspension, like if Romero did get suspended or sent off or whatever, we just didn't have the squad depth to cover, because, okay, we got no Romero, now we've got to play Davison Sanchez, or Tanganga or something like that. And I think it's part of the game. when you're being physical. Now and then you're going to get the odd yellow, the odd red, and you should have the squad that can just back him up. And we've got that now. So I've never had a problem with his cards anyway. And now, I mean, for the first, I don't know how many games was it? 8 games. He didn't even give a foul away, let alone a card. You know, he was very precise in what he was doing. Okay, he's and I think, you know, you can talk about luck and referees' decisions and things like that. I think he was a little bit unfortunate with some decisions he had against him. But no, I just think keep doing what you're doing, CUTI. I think he's great.
Fair enough. Alex, what about you? I guess I don't even really know where you were at in the summer with Cristian Romero. I don't know if you were in the side of that you didn't think he was good enough and he needed to be better. What have you made of Cristian Romero this season as far as being a leader and more disciplined? Do you think he's been more disciplined? I don't know where you kind of stand on him in the summer. I don't know where you kind of stand on him now, if you don't mind.
He's been good this season. I will say that, but I think people have gone a little bit over the top about him. I've got to be honest. I think he has been rash. I think he was rash a little bit. I think he was rash last season. I think it was because the team weren't up and down, but I mean, his performances weren't great. And if you are supposedly a world class player, you've got to do that every single week, and that's it for me. I think Van der Ven's helped him. I do feel we are missing a trick, and I know people might not agree with me, but I do look at him as someone that could play in that midfield. I think he gets frustrated so much on being a defender. I think he could be that stroke number 6 a defender. I think we could use him in that sort of reign, and try and give more dynamic to his game a little bit. I mean, some people will disagree with me on that one because they say that they're giving him too much to do, and then he'll forget how to be a defender. But yeah, I think that's the only thing I would say. I would like to see him in the number 6 role because I think he might shine in that sort of role. You see what I'm saying?
You know, you're not the first person to bring that up. That Cristian Romero may thrive in that number 6 role. But
you know, speaking of frustrate, I reckon he might. I think Romero, especially last year, was frustrated playing in defence because every time he kicked the ball to Højbjerg or Skip, he would just get the ball back. And, you know, that would do your head in as a defender.
Yeah, I agree with you. And honestly, I like that he has more freedom to go forward. And I do agree with what Alex said off the top, that Van de Ven has complimented him very well. I think the style of it, it's almost like we stumbled upon the perfect character to coexist with Romero as far as that center back partnership, because he's even alluded to it. Van de Ven has spoken on it that he really sees Romero as like the yin and the yang. One is more aggressive, then he can be less aggressive, and when Romero's being less aggressive, then he can be more aggressive, and they kind of have this symbiotic relationship. And I really can't wait for them to keep doing it more, because honestly, from match week 1, Van de Ven I think had 3 training sessions before Brentford when we kicked off the season, and that's quite crazy for him to come in and be able to perform at that level he has. But I think
he still needs competition though. He needs competition for his place. I've got to be honest. And I'm
but that's what Dragusin is, right?
Yeah, well, we haven't seen him. That's the problem I have with it.
But he's brought in to be that competition. That's the point.
Well, at the moment, yeah, we ain't seen him. And as far as I'm concerned, I think he should.
Well,
be
why
in the
would
team.
you put him in when he's not? When Van de Ven's been good?
Well,
why would you change up when it's been great?
I'm not
Romero's
talking about those
great.
two. I'm talking about the right back that seems to be now a good player all of a sudden. You know who I'm talking about? Emerson Royale. You know what I mean? So it's like
the royal one.
I mean, it's not like I've not seen him. Like, you know, last time Udogie saved his ass how many times? You know what I mean? Like against Bournemouth. Then he had an okay game against Burnley. Everyone gave him man of the match. And then he had an okay game against Crystal Palace, who we should beat because we had 2 weeks off. You know what I mean? Sorry, but, you know, Jacob, I didn't really want to do this, but, you know, this is what happens when Mr. Box Office wants to unleash. That's what he does. You know what I mean? Sorry, that's just a Ratel trait. You know what I mean? Ratel's killers all the time, every single time. But it's just, for me, I don't understand why Emerson is getting a free reign to play at our club. And what I hear from Tottenham fans is, oh, we're missing Poro. But Emerson's playing well, though. Okay, so what do you want? Poro playing well, or what is it? You know what I mean? if he's a good footballer, he gets in front of Emerson. Does anybody agree with me or not? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
There was a few different things. Let me try and figure out which one. Which one were you asking about specifically? If Dragusin is a good enough player, he gets ahead of Emerson?
He gets ahead of Emerson, yeah. Because I'm told that.
I would agree with that. I would agree if he's, but it's also the role. So he has played right back before, but to my knowledge, now someone could correct me in the chat, and if they know better than me, please do. But at Juventus, he was brought in as a right back, and then they shifted him centrally, and that's where he played from then on since. And when he played that right back, it wasn't like this inverted attacking style right back, to my knowledge. So I don't know that his talents would necessarily immediately translate over. That's kind of my thought on it, and I don't know that even Ainge necessarily has seen Dragusin as a fullback. I don't know. Paul, what do you think? Is this just speak to Dragusin not being talented enough to unseat Emerson Royale? Has Emerson Royale been decent enough? Honestly, I thought last match that may have been his best or second best performance in the Tottenham Hotspur shirt.
I think he was all right. I mean, he's not brilliant, but he was he did a job. I don't know Dragusin, I don't know. Who knows what's going on in training, or I don't know. I can't answer your question, man. You know, I'm afraid I don't know. I'm fucking useless.
See, this is why when you're in the car. No, can you just sit in your car and call in from your car? Because when you're in the car, no, because you really had your ear to the ground when you were in the car. I feel like now that we got you in the guest room, we fed you up with pan, and now some flan, and you're over here drinking the Mexican cappuccino. I think for me, in regards to Dragusin, we haven't seen him. I agree with Paul. Like, in the large scale of it, we don't really know if he's good enough. Does Ainge think he's good enough? What has he shown in training? But a lot of fans are clamoring that Dragusin not being on the pitch is kind of a failure. Like, why do we even buy him? Eric Dyer's getting minutes at Bayern in the Champions League. Radu's got to be sitting there saying, I could have been getting those minutes had I chosen Bayern Munich.
I think one thing about Dragusin, his agent just shut the fuck up. I'm sick of hearing this guy.
Did he say something again?
Yeah, he said something about our concern about minutes or whatever. It's like, fuck off, dude.
That's what agents do now these days, though. This is what.
Look, Dragusin, right? He's here for the. He's not here for just this season, for one thing. And especially next season, we're going to get into some European competition, whether it's Champions League or Europa League. We're going to have more matches. We've been playing low, we're only playing like 30 or 40, 42 games this year. But I mean, to Alex's point, we had a week off. I don't think that helped the team at all. I think when you're playing every week or twice a week, you get momentum. So I think it was a disadvantage to not playing.
The problem I have with it at the moment is that I keep on hearing the word, and they keep on hearing this word, backup. And again, I don't understand what we're talking about here. We've got to stop this word of backup. Squad player. You're not a squad player. You're there to compete. You know what I mean? And I'm just bored of hearing this. You know what I mean? It's just like, if we're going to start talking about squad players, get Harry Winks back. Where's Harry Winks? You know what I mean? Because everyone's like say you don't want him back though, yeah. So why are we talking about backups? Because he was a backup. That's a definition of backup. And I was defending
he got the number 8 shirt,
wasn't I? You know what I mean?
Well,
what about Walker Peters? Walker Peters was a backup. You know what I mean? Oh, but now everybody wants him back. You know what I mean? This is the point I make. You know, it's like if we're gonna compete and start saying ourselves, we want to compete with the Man Cities, the Liverpools, the Chelseas, that we're laughing at, but they've won trophies, yeah, and they're at their bad patch at the moment. We've got the advantage. We need to do better like them. You know what I mean? But if we're going to do those teams, we've got to look at it and say, are these players going to compete with the player that they are against at the moment? Emerson doesn't do it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Dragusin needs to get into that, and that's it for me. The whole thing with his agent, well, that should have been shut down a long time ago. Said to him, you know what, mate? He's at our club now. Now you just get on with the background, get get your player getting into Tottenham and start working hard to get into this team to make himself look like a legend. You know what I mean? But the point I'm making is that needs to be done every single time, because I'm sorry, I'm not happy that players are getting an easy ride at our club. Just like when they're playing badly, they stay in the team. That's not a good club. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Sorry, Jacob.
So-
I was trying to keep quiet. I thought benching at the gym today was going to calm me down, but obviously it didn't. Sorry, back to you, Jacob.
Just got you all pumped up, Alex.
Yeah,
You're all
pumped
ready to
up.
go, man.
Big up Panda Ball for sponsoring tonight's show. I appreciate that, my friend. Says Winks is a championship player. Shake my head. I agree. I think Skip is a championship player. I think Emerson Royale is an equivalent to Junior Firpo, and he plays left back for Leeds, and he's doing all right in the championship. I think there is a level, and to a degree, I agree with Alex, but also I want to push back a little bit here in the sense that we've been getting some of these dead fuckers out of the club, right? We got Hugo Lloris off the books. He admitted he was playing Grand Theft Auto so much that he thought he knew the LA landscape because he'd been playing Grand Theft Auto so much on his PlayStation. He's like, I thought I knew every nook and cranny of the LA. And I have Grand Theft Auto, and I don't know every nook and cranny of that fucking map. It's huge. So my point is, we've gotten the likes of him off. We've gotten Eric Dyer out of here. We got Winks out of here. Rodon's on loan, looking like Leeds looking like they want to buy him. You know, we have gotten some of this out of the way, and to me, I've always equated the deadwood here at this club like rot in a house, and you're trying to refurbish the house. You can't get it all out in one fatal swoop. You got to chip away at it, and eventually replace it. Take some out, replace it, or else you take the whole infrastructure down, the roof comes toppling over. Now you got a bigger problem. So I think Emerson Royale is in one of those positions where he's not good enough. We know that, but we have to field somebody who can play the position. And to a point that I was making on another show, or I think it was another show that we did here, maybe it was with Paul and Kuva earlier this week, I was saying that from Ainge Postecoglou's perspective, and it was about the youth, from Ainge Postecoglou's perspective, if he was to stand in front of 25 other adult males and say, my word is gold, I need you to trust my word, and if you work hard in training, you will be rewarded with the game time when the opportunities arise. Not because you're better than somebody or that you train better than somebody, but if you work hard enough, when the opportunity arises, you will be rewarded with that chance. So by me saying that, Emerson Royale, Oliver Skip, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Ben Davies, for good or worse, which their talent level is below par, what we want to be a successful club. So I see Alex's frustrations, but at the same time, how can he sit here and not, when Pedro Porro, our ideal starting right back, is out, how can he turn around and say to these players, I'm going to put Dragusin or so, I mean, there was even talks of our youth player getting in there. Robson, I think is his name. He ended up playing the same match, so then we knew that wasn't going to be the thing. For me, Emerson Royale works hard in training. I'm digressing a little bit, but Emerson is going to work hard in training. Therefore, I feel like it's more of Ainge just living up to his word in front of these men. So that this is his first year, and I could see it as you want to establish that you mean what you say. And if he were to not reward Emerson Royale when a guy in front of him goes down with starting time, then I don't know. I think that may look weird in the locker room. Maybe I'm off my rocker a little. Do you have any thoughts on that, Alex?
The problem I have with this at the moment is that I don't think certain players have played well. And I don't think Emerson's played well. And I feel that the problem I have with it is that we were bigging up our youngsters, yeah. And now a lot of people now are saying, well, they're not ready yet. They're not ready. And I have a problem with that because I thought this was a build. And if you can't do it now, when are you going to do it? You know what I mean? Because next season is supposed to be the season.
I would throw this out there to you in rebuttal to that, Alex. I would say that you can see that when these kids have played the system for more time than they have that he's been here. He's been here for 7 months. It's not even completely implemented yet in the academy. So to ask a Donley, a Dorrington, a Phillips to come in and play a possession-based center back, where we're asking Ashley Phillips to do a Cristian Romero role, that's just, he's not going to be adept at doing that. He's a standard defensive center back, not a ball-carrying defensive center back. So for me, I think that it's a lot to expect these children to be able to adapt so quickly. I think once Ainge has had a couple of seasons of implementing, and we've had a changeover on the academy level. The guy who now runs it wasn't the guy who used to run it, and we are working on it. And again, one of those things, I admitted that I felt like I got a little head over heels about it, because seeing those young names on the team sheet, it led me to believe that there was this youth, that we are going to start using the youth in some positive ways when we have injuries, suspensions, and the like. But it was the only reason we saw them was because we had injuries, suspensions, and the like. And for me, that is an even slower process than just rebuilding the first team. And Ainge's sole priority right now is to get the team playing his style and his philosophy, and then it's to get the right players and be good enough to run that. That's my understanding of it. I mean, I could be wrong. Paul, do you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, well, if you fixing the academy, I think, is a very long process, because since, the dying days of Pochettino, say if you were a really good footballer and you wanted to play for a London club as a kid and you had no specific, allegiance, which I guess when you're a footballer, you generally don't anyway. You might be a fan of a club, but that doesn't mean you want, you end up playing for them. Why would a kid's parents want to sign up their young talent to Tottenham compared to, at that time, Arsenal and Chelsea? If you were good, you'd be going to Arsenal or Chelsea. And I think that's changing now. I think Chelsea are gone. So that's one team out. So it's between us and Arsenal. So we're going to get more and more talent. But, if you change the academy now, you're not going to see that run through to first team. It could take 2, 3, 4 years. It could take ages. And the likes of Donnelly and Dorrington, okay, you might be tearing it up in the under-21s or under-23s or whatever. That's not the Premier League. I don't know what the difference in jump is. I don't know what they're seeing in training. They were on the bench a lot because we had no bloody choice. This was in the day. We were playing 2 goalkeepers on the bench. We had so little players available. So, of course, a couple of kids were going to be there. Maybe they'll make the grade. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But I'm not really that concerned about the academy producing products, because it hasn't produced anything for the last God knows how many years. We've had Harry Kane, Harry Winks, Ollie Skip. I mean, you're on mute, or am I on mute?
No, I'm on mute. Sorry. And 2 out of the 3 that you just named, Paul, are not good enough to be title. God dang it, I didn't mean to put those balloons going. But 2 out of the 3 that you mentioned are not good enough to play first team football if we're trying to be genuine title contenders.
Nowhere near.
And I
Absolutely
agree. I
nowhere
agree
near.
with Alex in the Emerson Royale in the squad. I don't know that a title contending squad would consist of that level of talent.
My argument is though, Jacob,
Yeah.
is that you can get a better footballer than Emerson Royale. If you can't get a better footballer than Emerson
Remember,
Royale,
he was a
there's
deadline
problem.
day sign. I agree with you. He was a deadline day signing because we needed a warm body.
And I do agree with what Paul's saying, because I've seen it. I know the guy that is the youth director is cooking at the moment. I do see it. Right, he's got the right idea. I get it, because I've heard somebody has already spoken to the guy, and they're starting the whole thing. They've restructured it to everyone playing the same way, and the football is the only problem I have at what he's done. Sorry, he brought in the youngsters, but the money that they're paying the youngsters now is a lot of money for players that, let's be honest here, haven't really done anything right now, right? Yeah, okay, for their level, they've done okay, yeah, but that's for their level. But to give them big wages, there's big expectations, you know what I mean? And that's where I have the problem at the moment, you know what I mean? You can't give them big wages and say, oh, they're the best, the class of 92, according to Johnny, yeah, who said this early in the season, right? And I've got the quote of him saying it, right? And then all of a sudden now, oh, they're not good enough now. You know what I mean? So why are you overhyping it? You know what I mean? and why are you giving that? Why are you putting them under pressure like that, and not bringing people to do it? My opinion at the moment, I think those players are going to end up getting sold, like the Chelsea model, and the players that were buying in as youngsters are going to get into the team. That's my opinion at the moment. I don't
I
see
think
them
that's
coming
fair.
into the team. I don't think
I
they're
think-
getting into the team.
I
You know
mean,
what
when you look at this, like the standard of youngsters, you just look at someone like Pat Matsar. He's a kid. That's the level
Yes, yeah.
you would be, or a doggy. That's the level that's the level for the academy to produce. And we're nowhere near that. Nowhere near that at the moment.
I agree. No, that's a good point. Big up Bob Down Under. Says, great to see Alex on a show where he's not getting shouted down and has time and space to talk to us. Hey, Alex may have a differing opinion on a lot of things, i.e. he doesn't like Ainge and I'm in love with Ainge. But he still talked to us nicely. So, and I do like this point here from Alexandra Castro. Says the academy director came from none other than Manchester City's academy. So we are, and that's been a productive academy, you might say, with Phil Foden, Oscar Bob, Rico Lewis, just to name a few.
Yeah, I praised him. I praised it straight away because I said the guy knows what he's talking about. The guy that I forgot his name now. What is his name? I forgot his name now. But he's very good. He is very,
it Anderson
very good.
something or something Anderson?
I forgot his name now. It's so bad because I'm gonna do a video on the whole thing as well, or showing it. Because
thank you
I
for
think it's a
reminding me.
big thing. But like, yeah, for me, he has got the idea. He has the foresight of what he's doing, and I think the good thing is that at the moment is that it screams out John McDermott and Pochettino, because it looks like them two are, him and Postecoglou are on the same page. That's what it seems like. I've read something already, so that's where it looks it is something's going on. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? This again
Just-
talks about long term. We don't know, but I don't want to go off subject. Back to you, Jacob. Sorry.
Oh, big up. Hey, look, Alex, I always tell you I appreciate you sharing your opinions, sharing your mind, because we're all Tottenham Hotspur fans. We all want the same damn thing, and that's to be a title contending, trophy winning side and have a caliber, have a quality and a standard about us that you can't deny. And honestly, I love what Ainge says every single time, which is I'm here to help build this into a side that can contend on all competition levels. So, Alex, whatever you had, somehow I have it now.
Yeah. I try and not cough on stream. Sorry, mate. It's Simon Davis.
No, I'm here
Simon
coughing now,
Davis.
too.
Someone in the chat just said it's Simon Davis, the guy, director of football.
Simon Davis.
Simon
Big
Davis,
up Simon
yeah.
Davis. But look, I want to talk about something else here. I want to talk about Heung-min's son, the master that he is. Look, I think I've said this when he came back from the Asian games. I love Richarlison's little form there where he's scoring some goals. That hasn't convinced me that he is the end-all, be-all. But when I saw Son play yesterday, whatever day it was when we played the other day, I'm doing Paul's spiel there. What time's a man-made construct anyway, so we don't have to call it for what. But on Saturday when we played, Son in that number 9 role, honestly, his link-up play, his positional awareness, and I think his football IQ to drag defenders out of positions, that's what created not just Brennan Johnson bodying the fuck out of Joachim Andersen, who I was told was better than Cristian Romero, but that's neither here nor there. But I was told Joachim Andersen's better defender than Cristian Romero, and Brennan Johnson danced on his head top. So I think that's quite funny. And then he went through Jefferson Lermas, who's someone I've actually rated in the past as being a pretty good central midfielder. But besides Brennan Johnson doing all that, finding Timo Werner on the opposite side, if you watch it back, and I wish I could show it here, I don't want to in fear of copyright, but I could show it. Oh, shoot. My damn headphone just died. Can y'all still hear me? Hello.
Yeah, you're in.
Okay, you can hear me. Why my damn headphone disconnect?
Because technology's shit.
There we go. I think we're back.
It worked.
But if you watch Sonny's positioning on that Brennan Johnson goal,
Cable man. fuck this rechargeable battery world. You millennial. You know,
Cordless,
I want
baby,
to walk around my
cordless, so I can
living
do
room
this.
and
I can do all
yeah.
this number. Yeah,
Yeah,
talk
and
to
then now
me.
and then, I can't,
Hey, my thing just died. Normally it makes a noise when it's about to die, but I guess it didn't tell me. But look, Son's positional, my boy, Son's positional, the way he moves in the box, it drags defenders. And if you watch back that Brennan Johnson, when he sizzles it across the box, before he passes that, Son pulls forward, like he stops his run and tracks back, and that pulls the defender and that creates the space for the ball to roll through. If he had just stopped, like I've seen Richarlison do on those, because he's like, is that going to me? And he just stops. In the past, that defender would be right there and that ball gets intercepted. But by Son stopping, tracking back, it pulled the defender to him, and then the ball went right past where he just was. So my point in saying that is Son, not only as a striker, in my opinion, is lethal in the box, in and around the box. I want him getting those touches, but his positional play, his football IQ is through the roof. He is our best fucking player. I've stood on this since the summer. I stand on it still. Son is our best fucking player, and we have to use him in the number 9. I feel like we're wasting him out there in the left wing. If our wingers aren't attacking the space, aren't utilizing the ball at their feet and attacking the space behind those fullbacks, then we're really just utilizing them for only a couple of things, and that's to receive the ball and then cut in and find the next pass of those runs into the channel behind. So, from my mindset, Son, with all the qualities that he has, you're really limiting him and putting him in a box by sticking him on the left wing. And with his talents, I think he has to be a number 9. I think it is foolish of us to start Richarlison there and put Son back out on the left just because Richie feels healthy enough and he's feeling good and he was banging in some goals. Paul, what do you think first about Son as the number 9? Do you think Richarlison should come back? He was banging in goals. It had been 2 games that he didn't score in, and then he got injured allegedly. I say allegedly. I don't know why.
What do you mean allegedly?
I don't know why. That's the shit stirrer in me. That's the shit stirrer in me. I shouldn't have said allegedly. That was bad. That was distasteful. No, but
I'm not. Look, Son better player than Richarlison any day of the week. But what gets you more goals? Is it Son on the wing with Richarlison in the middle, or Son in the middle with Werner or someone else on the wing? Whatever gets you more goals. I don't give a fuck who's the better player playing in what position. Whatever gets more goals, that's what we do.
Well, what in your opinion would get us the most goals, Paul?
I think Son on the wing and Richarlison in the middle.
Why?
Because I think Son's a better winger than Werner. The big, like in the Crystal Palace game, I know I have a feeling that Alex might not agree with this, but what the hell, eh? But I thought we played well all game, but I thought the big difference between the first and the second half was in the first half our wingers weren't winging; they weren't delivering the ball into Son or to each other anywhere in the box. I was getting very, very frustrated with Werner. A lot of what he was doing was brilliant. He was, troubling the defenders. And then he'd stop, and the number of times he'd just turn around and pass the ball back to a doggy, it was winding me up, absolutely winding me up. But then in the second half, Werner starts doing wingy stuff, and Brennan Johnson on the other side, and there you go, 3 goals. So I think Son is better at doing that than Werner.
But let me ask you this. If Richarlison... Is Richarlison tracking back and receiving the ball as deep as Sonny was? And then would he be in the position that on that third goal, if you remember, I believe it was Brennan Johnson got shifted to the left winger at this point.
It looks like it seems to be like back as well. He's all over the place.
That's what I'm saying. Son's, first of all, I feel like has more athletic ability in the sense of getting up and down the pitch when asked to track back or receive the ball. Because for me in the first half, I remember on my watch along, I was standing there, or not standing there, I was fucking sitting right here. But he was kind of standing there and it looked like he was getting frustrated with not receiving the ball. And so then all of a sudden he popped up and like Basuma's position, received the ball, played it to Romero, and then sprinted back for, because I was like, does he just want to touch the ball? What was that for? But then I was thinking about it, it's like when you do these types of things, all of this pulls defenders and midfielders on the opposition in different areas. And I really just think Son as a threat through the middle, having track back when you want to, go to the left side when you want to, because he just has that inept ability to know when and where the action's going to be. That third goal, Son's in that position because of that just thing that I said. And him, when he receives the ball at that position, in that spot, and he has that breakaway, if that's Richarlison, even with the spatial awareness, say they're on the same level of football IQ and he works himself into that position and he receives the ball, and that exact moment that Son receives it, does Richarlison finish with the goal?
All right, no, you're right. No, play Son in the middle and play. I'm fucking old pushover, man. No, I mean,
Alex, what do you think?
Sorry, but it depends. Like, Son, when he gets the ball in the middle, is absolutely the most clinical thing on the planet, I think, you know, with his finishing, the way he does it. What gets you a better result? Is it like having worse wingers and Son maybe getting 2 opportunities, maybe 3 in a game, and he'll convert one of them? Or is it better to have your best player out on the wing, maybe knocking in 5 or 6 of those balls, and Richarlison, who's not as good, maybe getting 2 out of those 5, 1 out of those 5. That's the balancing act.
Interesting. Alex, what do you think? Where do you kind of stand on Son through the middle, or do you think he should be out left?
It's an interesting question. Firstly, Paul, stick to your opinion, mate, man. Don't worry about anything. You know what I mean? Stick to your opinion, Bob. And that's no dig at Jacob, by the way, but stick to your opinion, because your opinion's valid regardless. Even if I don't agree with you or not, that's the whole point of these streams, and that's it for me, and that's it, really. And it's great to hear different opinions anyway. But to go back onto the question of Son, for me, he is our best forward at the moment, even though he was anomalous in the first half. But I think he's shown his class in the second half. Let's be honest here. People are defending Werner for that miss, and I saw it quite clear. He was going to miss it all day, every single day, because he's just not got it. He hasn't got the arrogance. The 3 strikers, Richarlison, I'll put Richarlison there, maybe up front by default, because that's the only thing we've got, because we ain't got that much of a choice at the moment. It's our forwards that are failing us at the moment massively, right? Song's got it. He's got arrogance. Yeah, he misses a chance, shrug his shoulder like Defoe,
Hit the post, yeah.
Just shrug his shoulders like this. So what? I'll score another one. Werner, too nice. Nice guy. Nice guy. Richarlison, nice guy. Yeah? You know what I mean? Yeah. What's his name? Solomon, nice guy. Nice guys go nowhere in life. Nowhere. Brendan Johnson, nice guy. Too nice. It's the arrogant people. Ivan Toney, if he misses a chance, I got a little bit too excited there. Shrug his shoulder. So what? I'll score another one. Yeah, these players got a bit of a chip off their shoulder. You know what I mean? Saying, so what? That people have a go at him saying, you're not going to score. I'll show you. Bang it in the top corner. You know what I mean? That's what strikers do. Harry Kane, he has a bit of an arrogance about him. You know, Teddy Sheringham back in the day had a bit of arrogance about him. Yeah, I'm better than you. Yeah, I'm better than you. Yeah, you know what I mean? You know,
that's what you mean.
That's the sort of arrogance that you have as a striker. You know what I mean? Because you know you're going to get people have a go at you, yeah, saying you rubbish, and they'll sit there and say, well, I'll show you, banging the hat trick. You know what I mean? You know? Abramovich was a good example. He'll sit there and say, you having a laugh at me? Okay, then I'll show you. Bye-bye. Here you go. You know what I mean? There's so many strikers out there. And unfortunately, they're so limited now in the Premier League now. They're so, swag. Someone just said it, swag. That's what they need, swag.
So some swagger about him. I love Jose said the same thing about us. He walked in and said, you're all too nice. Y'all need to get a little something about you. And honestly, when Son got the captaincy is when I started seeing a little bit of that rough and tough side of Sonny that I was like, okay, he's not this nice guy who's gonna just smile with all his teammates when they fuck up. I feel like as a leader on the pitch has held his teammates accountable. You know, it's.
I don't
for
agree
me,
with that one. I think
don't.
for me, at the moment, I still need convincing about him as a captain. I've got to be honest. But as a player, at the moment, I think he's. I mean, he was anonymous in the first half. I've got to be honest. He was anonymous in the first half, but he's shown his class in the second half. You know what I mean? That goal, when you take a one-on-one, you have the goalkeeper. You're controlling him. You're controlling the goalkeeper. You know what I mean? You're making him make the dive first move, and he knows what to do. He knows exactly what to do. Werner, keeper had him all day long. Sorry. That's the thing. And he scored a tap in, and everybody twerks for him. You know what I mean? Everyone twerks for him, saying, "Oh, he can get confidence after a tap in." Janssen scored a tap in. Look what happened to him. You know, Vincent Janssen. Does everyone remember Vincent Janssen? You know what I mean? Postiga.
You know, that's an interesting moment in the. It's an interesting moment in the match when I think it was Bentancur won it back, and then Sonny just kind of stole it off Rodrigo, pings it over the top. This is now, I believe, is that 2 or 3, Alex? To me, that I remember Manchester United and I remember versus Crystal Palace, but maybe in between some there was another match where he had a one-on-one opportunity with the goalkeeper and failed to convert. For me, there was a Chelsea fan that said when we initially did this deal, there was a Chelsea fan that said, watch how many times he gets into great positions. Your teammates are going to find him and ping a ball to him. It's going to be him in open space, one-on-one with a defender or one-on-one with the keeper, and he's going to fuck it up. And literally every time he's one-on-one with anybody, I think that to myself of like, okay, he's probably going to fuck this up.
He does make some good runs though, Werner. He does make some good runs. I will say that because I've seen it.
But that's kind of my point, Alex. These wingers, we're not asking them to do a whole hell of a lot other than run decently, receive the ball, and then pass it off. That's like what we're asking these wingers to do, and crash far post when the opposite winger has it on the byline. To me, these things, Timo Werner. This was I'm going to ask you because I had it on another show, which was, do you want to pick up the Timo Werner option? But as say. Just no. Hang on. So, as 15 million from a winger, and I don't want to do it personally. So I'll preface it by saying I don't want to do this, but I'm going to pose it as this because if he's able to do the simple things we're asking wingers to do in this system, which is to run and then cut into the diagonal space, not even attack the space behind, it's a very simple things that we're asking these wingers to do. Could he be a backup in a sense, or is he another one of those that would be like an Emerson Royale level of a squad player? Sorry,
you just answered your question. You just answered your question, Jacob. You said backup. What did I say about backups?
As soon as I said backup, I was like, "Fuck!" You just said
he's 27 years old. That's all you're gonna get from him. I would have only. You know what? I would take Nusa. That Nusa kid. I'll be honest with you. Because at least you got a young kid and he can get better. Because at that age, at least you've got a glass ceiling where you can get better. You know what I mean? But 27 years old, you're at your peak, mate. Sorry. I don't know where we're going with this again.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going with this again. I'm not having a go at you, Jacob. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest with you.
My whole thought, I've always said,
you might as well get Bergwijn back. Bergwijn, remember Bergwijn?
Yeah, because he would do he could do exactly that. But I think he has a better finish on him, personally. I think Bergwijn has a better finish than Timo Werner. But they are basically offer the same thing, which is just that running. You can give them the ball and they can run with it, and that's about it. But, big up. Ronnie says Son is a brilliant captain. Alex, why are you not so sure about Son as a captain? And Kate's in here saying, I was mudded. Sonny is an incredible captain. I agree. I think he's an incredible captain. But why are you not so sure?
I think Vicario. I just see more from Vicario than Sonny. And again, listen, this is a difficult question because everyone's got different opinions on the captain sort of thing. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we'll see how good he is next season and the season after if he is still here. You know what I mean? I think the questions will be answered next season and the season after that.
I think
Sonny's
Sonny's going to be here next year.
Well,
Let's.
yeah, true. But
I know for a fact. I don't think Sonny's going anywhere. Not even just from an Ainge Postecoglou tactical standpoint, Alex. You know our owners better than anybody. You know that that is a cash cow. His image, his photo with your whatever the fuck is going to sell. It's going to get clicks. It's going to get views. He is a superstar. So there's the market aspect of why I don't believe he will be sold. Last summer he said no to a very, very lucrative deal from Al Ittihad, and he basically said, fuck off. I got things to do with Tottenham Hotspur. And to me, at every juncture, Sonny has exemplified being Tottenham through and through. Kane was flirting with City. What did Son do? He signed an extension.
No, but I'm not questioning on his loyalty here, right? But that might be his downfall because he's not going to win any big trophies here. You know what I mean? Big up Kuva, by the way, my guy, my guy.
Big up Kuva.
My guy. But the point I'm making is, right, is that I just think for me, we'll see what he does if he can win trophies. That's the main thing at the moment because that's where the criticism's coming down. You know what I mean? Because being captain, the spotlight's on you. You know what I mean? So for me, can he inspire a team to get to win? Win honours, to be better than they are. You know what I mean? Because at the moment, this season, we're going for Champions League. Who cares? Who cares? I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just being ruthless today. I'm just being ruthless. But Kuva knows this because I've been on the phone with him. Alex has been on the phone with him. Yeah, and
let me welcome in Kuva here as we approach over an hour on the channel. There's over 130 people across all three platforms. So before we bring in the man, the myth, the legend that is Kuva 99 and Kuva 90 also fine 9, I should say. Welcome to the show. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I've been listening in. I've been, as I said, I've been doing some recycling for tomorrow morning. They arrived too early, so I've got to get it done in the evening. Yeah, there's interesting points. As Alex says, we've been having long conversations about all this stuff. So Alex has always had a fair point, which is it's no good talking the talk. You've got to walk the walk. Alex needs to see things actually happen for him to believe in them. I get that. There's a lot of people won't have the patience for that and are going to dive straight in one view or another immediately. The fact is, everything that's happening at the club now, we don't know how that's going to pan out until next season, do we? So we've got players that may be here, may not be here next season. Hopefully,
one of those he's for sure going to be here, right, Kuva? Do you have a second?
He's going to be.
There's Son, Romero, Madison, Vicario, Udogi, Van de Veen. That's 6 for sure that aren't going anywhere.
Well, you never really know, do you? I mean, it's unlikely the ones that have only just arrived to be going again, but you never know what happens with the rest of it. We have been victim to players leaving at last minute, beaten them in the past. It can always happen again. It's more a case of you've got to look at exactly what's here right now and say, are some of these players good enough? And I think the debate about Timo Werner, for me, I'm still convinced on what I said to start with. He's a has-been player. He needs to prove himself still. Good that he actually made an impact in a game. Fantastic, but he's got to keep doing that. If he has like 10 out of 12 great games till the end of the season, you'd say that's a player worth keeping then. But right now, it's all to do. We'd be talking about massive wages for him. So he's got to be worth it. And just showing little bits in matches every now and then, or 10 minutes in a game, it's not enough. You need at least 70, 80, preferably 90 minutes out of them. Same with Brennan Johnson. Same with every single player there. If you're not playing well enough, you shouldn't be in that team. Right now, there's little question marks over the form of Bentancur, isn't there? And we know he's a good player. Sometimes they need to be rested and get themselves in physical shape a lot better. I think that's the case with Bentancur. That's the gut feeling anyway. Maddison has had a habit of needing a string of games to get his form back. Little signs of it in the match against Palace, but we need him doing it consistently. Again, the Sonny in the first half, there wasn't a lot there because the team wasn't performing. Second half, it's the Sonny we know come to know and love. But it's a long haul thing. This there's no point making snap decisions right now and saying, "Oh, this one's definitely a player we need next year." It can all change. I think somebody on another channel a few days back, they said it's basically an audition for all the players. This last 12 games, you show you're good enough. I totally agree with that. And it doesn't matter whether you cost 5 million or 75 million. It's all the same. You've got to be performing. That's as brutal as it gets. And right now, I think we have a squad that isn't as good as those other rivals we have for the top four.
Can I just say something though, Kuvar? Right?
No, not at all.
I just need to just chime in just to say this. Yeah, right. Is that Arsenal have shown why I have doubts at the moment. Right? They stuck with Arteta through thick and thin. Thick and thick. I can't even say my words now. Sorry, but thick through thin, thick and thin. Yeah,
they stuck through them through eighth and fifth. They did do that.
Exactly. They stuck with him even when they were saying Arteta out. Arteta out. Right? Now people are now saying they're all most of them are getting on board now. Right? Because they're seeing what the fruits of it now. They need to win this season. They need to win that championship this season because I think next season might be a different thing. But Tottenham have never done that. They've never done that. As me being a Tottenham fan, never done that. Every single time there's a bad run, we sack our manager. Right?
Well, we haven't had a manager start and end a season since Pochettino.
Exactly. But
that's crazy.
But that's recent times, and then we've not done it. And the reason why I'm like this is why I get sick of people saying I'm not ever happy. You don't know Alex, and you're never going to get to know Alex. So just get with Mr. Box Office, and that's it. If you don't know, get to know. The point is,
speaking of, the channels are in the description. Paul, the Hotspur Hippie, and Mr. Box Office TV in the description of this video. But real quick, big up to everyone who has hit a like on the video. I see you. I appreciate you. 140 votes in the poll. And the question is, who is your ideal number 9 for Spurs? 54% says Sonny, Son. And I love that because that's how I feel. But I just refreshed and I see there's 78 likes. Half of you who have voted have not liked the video. And I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know why you don't do that. Chewy. It's free.
Poor Chewy.
Think about Chewy because... he's not going to get to eat dinner tonight. Yesterday's video or last stream that I did, it wasn't yesterday, but last stream that I did, it almost hit 200 likes. Which is I'm going to buy him a steak dinner. I almost had to buy Chewy a steak dinner last night.
That's nice.
Yeah. But thankfully it's only at like 190 likes, so that big up for that. But we have been hitting 150 likes, so Chewy has been getting some of my dinner as per the agreement. But we haven't hit 100 likes, therefore Chewy's not going to eat dinner tonight. So let that be on your conscience while you sleep, while you eat, while you do your daily activities. I want that to hang over your head like the ASPCA commercials with sad music. But Kuva, let me ask you. Son is a number 9 when Richarlison's 100%? Is it... Where are you at with it? For me, you've been listening, you said, so I think you know where I stand on it. He's our best player. And you have to put your best player that is in the position of the system to score the goals. As was evident, I think his link-up play speaks for itself. Looking back at a lot of the highlights in his link-up play, he is the most clinical player statistically in the Premier League. But Kuva, for you, does Richarlison get that number 9 position when he comes back healthy? And we move Son back out to the left wing?
For me, I think our options are so limited, I probably would play Richarlison. But Sonny, we know he can play there when he needs to, but I do think we miss something when we don't have that sort of physical, aerially capable player, a big target man, basically. That's not Sonny's game. Sonny's a finesse player, one of the best in the business at this. I think you can play him on the left, but make sure he's always getting in and around the box where he can work his magic. If you just play him up there and then crossing the ball at him head height, he's going to lose out on those. He doesn't score many with his head, if any at all. Can't remember the last time. But yeah, Richarlison offers something different, even though he's not as good a player. We are just limited with options. I think what we'll start to see of Villiers, I think he's going to be a viable option at some point if he keeps developing. I mean, obviously, club don't feel he's ready at the moment, but I think the best solution at the moment would be get some better players up front. It's like as simple as that. You really want to go places, you've got to improve the first 11 at all times. So we're talking about the need for somebody with a sort of physicality of Harry Kane who can regularly put the ball away. There's one that stands out for the moment, and for me at the moment in the league, and that's going to be Tony. He ticks quite a lot of the boxes. Perhaps not the most twinkle-toed, skillful player on earth, but he's pretty useful with it. Certainly fits the target man role. Good in the air, would cause problems. And
so you're saying Sonny can't be our 9 for the future? That's what you're saying? Poo-poo on all my dreams.
We'd have to play a different kind of way to a lot of the traditional sort of English game, because Sonny's not somebody you're going to sling the ball in with a big looping cross into the box and expect him to challenge in the air for it. We need somebody that's going to do that. So I think Sonny is somebody you have to just play off that player. It's a difficult one. I mean, ultimately, the greatest we've seen in the recent years would have been Ronaldo, wouldn't it? He's got everything. He had the pace, the skills, and the aerial ability, and you could use him as a target man. Just had absolutely all of it. We had Harry Kane, who was doing that same kind of role. Right now, you need these options. You can't just rely on using Guile all the time unless you've got players like Man City have, where you've always got Bernardo Silva, a Phil Foden, these players at top quality who know how to thread the ball through the eye of a needle and can be patient. You see, when we're struggling to score against the low block, the difference between us and City is quite often you will see City doing that same horseshoe shape, going round from one side to the other, not getting anywhere, the team frustrating them. Eventually they get through, and it's not because of the tactics have changed, it's because they got better players. That's what wins you the games. That's why Man City get those strings of 10 wins in a row when 6 of them could be 1-0 wins because the team's trying to block them out. That's why we can't do it. We're just not that good. So up the level.
Not yet, Kuva. Not yet.
But
I don't think.
If we get.
I don't even want Tony, bro. I used to want Tony for years and years. Before he even came to the Premier League, I wanted Tony. I thought he would be a perfect backup for Kane. I don't want that fucker anymore. Son's my number 9.
I'm not bothered about him, Jacob. It's just he fits that kind of profile, that big player.
You're right. You are right. That's what I'm saying. Is it was very obvious to me when I was watching them in the playoffs before they got promoted. I was like, this Ivan Toney guy, he's a fucking great striker. He looks just like Harry Kane with a little bit more speed. And I thought he'd be a perfect backup, because this was at the time when we were like, we need a Harry Kane backup because he always gets hurt. But real quick, Queen Ellie Bentoncourt in the house. Change of name, new marriage indeed. Queen Ellie of North London. How are you doing?
I'm all right. All the lights are out at my house, so I'm not putting any lights on. Because it's not that late. It's only 11.
Ellie, you're probably like the only one that I might allow just on the channel at any time, even if you have a camera or not, because you were royalty, you were family, like Kuva, like Alex, myself, Paul. You're family.
Royalty. These two are royalty. She's the queen.
Well, she's used to play for Tottenham Hotspur back in the day, so as far as I'm concerned, she's alumni. But first of all, how are you doing? You wanted to come on the channel.
Yeah, I wanted
clearly
to,
we're talking about something spicy for you.
Yeah, I wanted to sort of agree with Kuva as well, because although Postecoglou doesn't like to have a central number 9 as a big target man. He's always had sort of little players here and there. But in this league, right, you've got to have some striker who can put his head on the ball. I know Richie can do it, but he's not consistent. You see, that's the problem. We can't rely on Richie to do it all the time. So we're stuck with him for now until the summer probably, and then we can strengthen. But look, Man City, right, they've got that big lummox up front called Haaland who scores for fun, right? And I mean, Arsenal haven't got a big target man, but they scoring for fun as well. So I'm sort of a mixed bag whether to go big or small striker, because our small strikers in the past have done very well. Because we've had Robbie Keane, we've had Jermaine Defoe, they've all done very well. But I think in this league you have to be physical, and I think that big target man, someone like a Vlahovic, maybe not Ivan Toney because I think he's going Arsenal anyway, but someone who's big and can get goals for us. And we also need a nice creative player to add to Maddison. Someone who can put their foot on the ball and pinpoint passes like Man City do. Because we haven't really got any brilliant passes apart from Maddison, and Bentancur can when he's
Romero.
on his game.
Romero's one hell of a passer, if I may.
Yeah, but
throw
the
his
thing
name
is,
into
he's
the
from
caboodle.
defence, right? So he has to come up to make that pass. Yeah, he is good at passing, but what I mean is a proper creative, somebody who could put their foot on the ball and pinpoint passes like Ericsson used to do for us. You know, I think we're lacking that because we can't always rely on Maddison to pull one out of the bag either, because he's just come back from injury. But
So,
you know,
Ellie, let me.
We're not a Man City yet. We're pretending to be them, but we're not.
Well,
there
let me tell you this, Ellie.
Technicality.
Let me throw this. We're, first of all, not trying to be exactly like City. So I don't think we need a Erling Haaland, Vlahovic, etc. To me, my whole point in saying Son is the number 9 that Tottenham need is because he does exactly all the things that we need a number 9 to do, as far as I can tell, my amateur eyes, when I watch the game. He does all the off-the-ball work that I like to see. Again, Timo Werner doesn't get that goal. Brennan Johnson's cross gets cut out if it's Richarlison there, because he just stands there and then his defender would clog that space. And this is just a momentary example of Son doing the right things that end up working well for us. So for me, I don't want a Vlahovic. I don't want Tony. Not because they're not fantastic players, but because I don't think that we need them as our 9. I think Son needs to be our 9. Richarlison, sure, he could be our backup, but we go out there and we get I think it's our wingers that we need to improve on. I don't think Kulusevski's the type of winger.
Bruv. That front three's terrible, bruv. That front
three. Sonny's the only one.
But that's the point.
It's affecting us
real quick. But that's my point. Is when these wingers are being asked to do such little, they're not utilizing much. Because how many times did Kulusevski or Timo Werner receive the ball and they just didn't drive with it? They just don't pick it up and go. And their space, those fullbacks are cheating inside. They're allowing you that space to run to the byline, and they don't do it. And it's either they're being instructed to do that or they simply don't know to do that. But to me, that sounds like a tactical thing where it's like, I don't need you to cut to the byline. I need you to cut to the corner of the box, start to push in the box, and wait for either the fullback to overlap or underlap run you, and then lay it off. And I think that's what the wingers are being asked. So it's not this complex, like you have to have a Vinicius Jr. to operate the winger. For me, when you put Son out there, then you're basically nullifying all the things he can do very well, and you're limiting him because his instructions are to get to that corner and either underlap or overlap. And to me, that's limiting some of the things that he's just so good at. So for me, he has to be the number 9 unless you see selling Son. Because if you go buy Vlahovic and you put Son there, then he's just going to stand there. And look at the match versus Wolves. There was so many times I'm like, come on, Sonny, do something. He's just standing there, because I think the wingers are instructed to do this, like, just supplemental to the build-up rather than you get the ball and do what you want with it. You know what I mean? And
I don't believe that I don't think it's a skill. I don't think you can just. I don't think you can give them time to bond as well. Because I heard what Jay said, which was absolutely ridiculous, saying, "Oh, the strikers, the front three need time to bond." I've never heard such absolute nonsense in my whole life. If your quality, sorry to interrupt you, Jacob, but I had to say this: if your quality, it works. It just happens. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Great players know how to work with great players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just works in there. You
It's
know what I
like
mean?
radar,
Got a
isn't
football
it?
brain.
It's radar.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. You go get Nico.
Yeah.
You think you go get Kavicha, Kvaratskhelia, Nico Williams, one of these style of wingers that in this system they're just gonna stand there at the corner of the box? I don't really think so.
No,
I
but
think
Jacob,
I agree with what Kate
right?
says. We need better wingers, not strikers. Go ahead, Ellie.
Yeah, do you know what, Jacob, right? They say stats don't lie, right? But our stats lie, because if you look at the stats of the wingers, they're really good. They're up there with the best of the wingers.
Are you talking about
goal
Kulu?
contributions? But when
Brendan
you
Johnson
look
too.
with the eye, you think, what the bloody hell are we doing? What are these wingers doing? Do you know, the eye can lie sometimes, but my eyes show me that our front three, right, apart from Sonny, you take Sonny out they're pants. They really are pants compared.
Did you know that Kulu's the best assist in the Premier League right now, Ellie? Though
their pants, which is really odd. It just baffles you.
Ellie, did you know that Kulu's one of the best assists in the Premier League right now?
I know.
He's
And
covered the most.
You look at him, and he's a really. I like him as a player because of the way he holds the ball for us and he keeps ball retention. You know, but you want your winger to take on his man. He invariably checks back so many times. I would say 80% of the time he checks back, and 20% of the time he takes his man on. You want it the other way round, don't you? And then he'll have even more goal contributions, wouldn't he?
The problem I have with him, right? I watched him very carefully when I was at the stadium, right? He gets in the right positions, right?
He does.
And he has that skill to just get past players. Yeah, he just doesn't. He's just not the player for me. But someone said something very interesting. He has similar numbers to Modric when he was at Tottenham, and the reason why it's not coming off for him, the people that he's assisting aren't that very good. And look what Modric is doing at Real Madrid. You know what I mean? You know, and for me, I called him a reject when he came at Tottenham. I'm still not there with him. But the point is, unfortunately, I'm getting muddied because when that statement came out about Modric and his assists at Tottenham, right? And because he was serving not very good players, and now look at you doing that Real Madrid now.
This is how I feel about Kulu. Jason Bell sums it up. That Kulu does a whole hell of a lot right, but he just in the final third, I get the Kulusevski. What the fuck?
He does the right thing in the final third according to his stats, right? But you know what?
I mean, he could probably double it if he did better.
He's a moments player. He's not a player that dominates, right? Because he'll do a sublime pass like he did to Sarr against Brighton. That was a beautiful pass. Really great vision, but it's moments. He doesn't do it consistently enough, you know, and he's not easy on the eye because he lacks pace. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love him as a player when he produces, because he can produce, but then he'll go off the boil. For 10 minutes in that Brighton game, he was sublime. He was beating his man, and then he'll just go. He loses concentration, the boy. You know, as a winger, you've got to be on it. You've got to be ready to receive the ball and go for it. He doesn't seem that type of player. He's a bit lethargic sometimes, but I'll give him his dues. He does produce in moments. He just doesn't do enough for me.
I think Kulusevski, I think he summed up what he does in the team in the match against Palace. Remember when Timo Werner put across one really dangerous cross straight across the edge of the box, and there was like three people lined up to hit it in, and it was just out of their reach. It went past them across the other side where Kulusevski picked it up. And I was screaming at the TV, just hit it back, straight back across with your right foot, because we've got players right there under the goal line.
Yeah.
And he didn't. He let it go across him so he could get back onto his left foot. And the chance had gone. And that summed him up, rather than take a gamble on your weaker foot and just do something positive with that. It's like he's too scared to use it sometimes. He's so predictable because of it, like everybody's saying. I mean, I'll try to big him up and, praise his good points, which is like basically retaining the ball at times. That's what he's there for, winning the ball.
Defensively as well, the tracking back, there was some stats that were going around in the beginning of the season where he was like covering the most ground out of anybody in the top 5 leagues, which is crazy if you think about it. That just speaks to his work rate. Like, sorry,
I was just going to say. Well, here's the real problem: is we are constantly as fans trying to make excuses why to keep players in the team. Like they need time, they need to gel. Oh, he was good at this, he was good at that. He works hard. Oh, he's got good attitude. None of this matters when you compare it to some of the teams around us. And if you go back a few years, something like Manchester City is going to be the prime one to pick for me, because I think that the team from about 5 or 6 years ago was the best team I've seen in the English top flight. And that was because you look at the forward line, when they had Aguero in the middle, you'd have Raheem Sterling on one side, Leroy Sané on the other. And you think that's a quality front three to start with. But then you look at the bench, and what can come off the bench? David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. Now, if we're going to try and pretend that this squad of ours is anywhere near that, better think again, because that's what we need to aspire to, not trying to justify players who are nowhere near that level. This is a long-term build, so I can put up with players like Richarlison and that right now, because we literally don't have anybody else. But in 2-3 years' time, if we're still looking at him and he's still getting in, even if he gets 10 goals a season, is that going to be enough? Is that going to propel us to going for league titles? Not a chance. We need to drastically improve some of these positions. We need to have that kind of squad depth where if one of them is missing for a few games, somebody comes in that doesn't make you put your head in your hands. If somebody comes in that you think, oh, they're decent, they'll get a few goals for us. You don't worry about it. There's just no way we can possibly carry on as we have been doing. This was the whole reason that myself and a few others got excited about the summer. It was Big Ange coming in with this idea of really aggressively attacking football again, which I'm all for. And then the attitude of the board, they gave the impression that things are changing. They're changing the way the setup's done at the youth team level and throughout the club to benefit the first team in the long term. We're not going to see any of these benefits this season. It will come in following seasons, slowly at first, and then we will see regular benefits. If the academy's set up properly, we'll be producing our own Phil Fodens, our own Rico Lewis. That's what we've got to be aiming at. Meanwhile, let's build something worthwhile, and that doesn't mean keeping some of these players that do not perform at the highest level we need. Kulusevski and Richarlison and Timo Werner, they don't get in Arsenal's squad, they don't get in Liverpool's squad, they don't get in Man City's squad.
No,
They're
they don't.
pretending that they are that good, because they're not.
Phil Foden has literally melted me this season. He's become the man. He's become the big part player and become the man. What he did at that Manchester City derby, he was building up to it now. He was behind like Silva, behind like Grealish. He's shut up Grealish this season. Grealish, I don't even know where he is.
He's getting hurt and stuff.
He's gonna get
quick, I want to bring Paul back into this conversation of the wingers. Hey Paul,
so I had to go. Alex upset me. I had to go and calm down there. No, the wingers. I think it might have been on your very show, Jacob, where it was coming up to the date. Do we permanently sign Kulu or not? And I was of the opinion no. He's not good enough based on. I mean, I know everyone was crap last year, but I just thought, I know it's an easy thing, it's in front of you and all that, but I didn't think he was up to it, and I still feel that. I just don't. I think it was an easy, lazy buy. I think it was before Ange came in. That's what I'll say. He's
Yeah.
not an Ange signing. And
That was my hypothesis as well.
Right. So I think the signings that have come in since Ange has been in have been a lot better. I think Timo was a punt. It was something. I don't think Timo was a bad thing to do because players were off and all that, and to hold the space because who else was available in the summer anyway? Pretty cheap. At the moment, I don't think it's worth signing him permanently. If he scores 20 goals in the next few games, then maybe if he turns into the player he used to be, maybe that can happen. I'm not ruling it out. But Kula, I wouldn't have bloody well signed on a permanent basis.
I agree. I think it was questionable because last year it was like everyone was kind of shit outside of Harry Kane. So it was like, I don't really know how to assess a lot of these players, but there was a point where I had seen Kulusevski be bad longer in a Tottenham shirt than I had seen him being good. Now, I thought that, Kulusevski, he's not leaving in the summer. I don't care what anyone says. They just activated his clause. So as much as I would agree that I don't know where he fits in, he was activated before we appointed Ange Postecoglou. But what I would say as well is, he does have a lot of the intangible stuff, and he has the open mind enough to be willing to try these new roles. And honestly, when he becomes not a winger in this side, look what happened. We started scoring goals. And I just think that I don't know if it's totally indicative of him being the winger out there, but I think when you move him into the midfield, I kind of like him as a James Maddison backup. That is a you don't.
No. Like when he was being played in midfield, I just thought this is such a step down. That's a huge step down from
Maddison. There was about 3 matches in a row when we were getting absolutely overran in the midfield, and he was a part of that midfield getting overrun. But I just saw it as like we were all kind of not great on those days, and we were also shifting and moving fullbacks and a center back. So when you start removing cogs out of a Jenga system, the building's naturally going to start giving a little woo, even if it's not windy.
Yeah.
What sort of Jenga are you playing?
Jenga out there in Australia?
No, it's not cogs.
But they're like little fucking wooden fox. I don't know.
Is that American engineering? You use sticks as cogs. No wonder you're fucked.
I think Kulu's better adopted as a false 9. He used to play that role for Juventus, and when he went on loan, he was a false 9. I think he's better like that than a midfielder, because I just don't think he's got the legs to play in midfield. Because in midfield, you're receiving the ball a lot, and you've got to pinpoint passes. I think he's just better getting the ball deeper, and then then he can use his right foot hopefully to have a little shot. I don't think his shooting's not that great, but I think false 9 would be better for him. And then Maddison, and we buy another creative, because Bentancur, I think his legs have gone. I don't know whether it's me, but I just think his legs have gone.
Did y'all see the video of him on the sideline?
Yeah, he's very frustrated. He looked very sad.
Oh, I lost one of you with the layout. Really? There he is throwing his shoes. Man. To me, sorry about that, Paul.
Frustrated because he knows his body can't do it at the moment. Maybe he'll get his fitness. He's frustrated with his performances as well, because he's been playing pants as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'm gonna pose this. I'm adjusting the layout, so please stand by with me while I resurrect Paul from the ether.
See, I don't mind this. I prefer to see this than Dele Alli on the bench playing around on his phone.
Yeah, he loves.
Yeah, man.
He loves playing football. This boy, he's a proper footballer. He loves the game. I don't know if you saw that article where he says,
"Isn't he supposed to be one of the veterans
after matches?
Isn't he supposed to be one of the guys that's like, hey, y'all, I'm calm, cool, collected," and he's kind of throwing his boots around? To me, The optics aren't great.
On him. Benny's got a temper on him. You know, when he got fouled by Matty Cash, he wanted to get up and beat him up. You can see it in his eyes.
Do you think this is just more him being disappointed in his performance? Go ahead, Paul.
I think he looks pissed off with himself. I agree with Kuva.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got the shits. I mean, look, unless he's completely on some other planet and thinks, "Oh, why have I been taken off? Fuck this club." I don't think he's doing that. He's like, he knows he didn't play well.
True. He's so frustrated with his performance. He's angry with himself, you know, that he hasn't performed, and he's got passion. The boy, he wants to perform, doesn't he?
I mean, that was a serious knee injury, and we all felt he came back too early, didn't we?
Yeah,
I'm not blaming him, but the problem is
he even said that he came back too early.
People said he's a
Ainge
game
Postecoglou said it too. Ainge said that he said the same thing. I think it was that Bentancur came to me and said that he wants to come back early because everyone's dropping like flies and he wants to help the squad. So I kind of see it that way too.
When he came back, he did look all right. You know, he couldn't play.
I would say when he came back, everyone looked better around him. It was almost like he uplifted those. They're like, wow, Benny's back. We can do this. And while he may not have had the best individual performance, he's still, like, since he's come back, it has been that, like, we see signs and glimpses of the man he was. Is anyone concerned about him long term? Do you think he's not the guy?
No,
I don't think his legs have gone. They just haven't come back yet. You know.
No. He just hasn't got the fitness. He's got the intelligence and he's got the movement, but the fitness is not there. So when he goes in for tackles as well, I think he's more tentative to go in hard because he can tackle really well. He was one of our best pressers under Conte. Him and Højbjerg were fantastic together. But he was the main man. He was the main man because Bentancur, he's different gravy. When he's on the ball, guys, he's fantastic. Like, he showed it against Aston Villa in that first 30 minutes. He was absolutely sublime. And then against Manchester United again. So he's got it in him. He just hasn't got that match fitness, which takes time.
I just think at the moment he's I don't think he works well with Basuma. I've watched it. I don't think it works well together. And Maddison. I think he's been rushed. Just haven't got the chemistry as well. I don't think that makeup works at all. I think he's coming back from injury. Yes, I think that's also a problem with competition for places as well. For me as well, that's a problem as well. Because we keep on persisting with backups, which I told you backups don't work in a top team. And I think people overhyped him. I think people overhyped him when he was coming back. People were saying he's a game changer when he came back as well. So I think this all these things have put pressure on the situation, and I think at the moment it's just a thing where we're trying to force something to happen, and it just isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? I think sometimes you just got to give it time to breathe, and that's it. And I think rushing in hasn't been good. The confidence has kind of gone down as well, which is a bit worrying for me. So, overall, I think that's what is happening in that situation as well, with all the pressure as well around the stadium as well, and with the fans and the expectations, and him as a player as well. So
I think he'll be. I think he'll be fine. I think the decision at the time when he came back is like a 50% Bentancur better than 100% Skip or Højbjerg, and I think it was worth it.
We did ask that question right here, Paul. I think
So, but now it's a different landscape because we got Saar, Basuma, Maddison. That's a pretty good midfield. So there's less, rush to bring him back. Make sure he's fit, and I'm sure he'll be fine. Because like when he first came back, you could see his touch was pretty good in some places. I remember he was pirouetting in and out of three players.
A couple nice turns,
at one point. So it's not. I don't think he's become a shit player or anything like that. I think, a couple of bad performances.
I think in the win versus Brighton, he built up that first goal for us in the midfield. He picked up the ball, nice little turn, sprayed it out to Kulusevski, who then laid it up for whoever the fuck it was. Yeah, SARS. Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah.
I think he just needs a little bit more time. He was rushed back. I'm not concerned long term. I think it's is a great problem to have where we have all these midfielders where we're like, we want them to play, but where can they fit? And
Well, we got
who's the
4.
best 3 to go with? Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I meant. Like 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I'm really chilled for the rest of the season, because we had our fun at the top of the table earlier in the season. We would play people like myself and Paul in particular. We were getting carried away with it, and why not? Why can't we win it all? Why not? Having fun with it. But we knew if we were going to have any chance of that, everything had to go perfectly for us. We had to avoid injuries. We had to, make sure players stayed in form, and it didn't happen, which was always going to be the most likely outcome, let's face it. So now it has happened, and we are recovering from that period. And some of our key players have come back from long-term injury. They're not quite on form yet, so what can we expect from them? All I'm looking at is for the rest of this season, just get the fitness of the players back, see a little bit of proper Ange ball starting to come together, rather than this patchy sort of, couple of minutes in a game, and just see which players are up for it. And I want to be proved wrong by the likes of Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson. That would be great going into the summer transfer window, seeing them on a consistent run of form. If they can actually do it, I'll eat my words. I'm not scared of being wrong. That's for sure. I've given my opinion on the players. I don't think they're good enough, but if they can prove me wrong, that'll be a fantastic thing. Then we can start looking at adding to a squad that's getting better already with the transfers in the summer, rather than replacing players that aren't good enough. That will put us a long way ahead on our path for Ange. Because at the moment, the most important person at the club is the manager. That's where our driving force is going to be coming from, and I will apply that to any manager we've had before as well. I didn't like the likes of Conte and Mourinho, but Mourinho, when he came through, I was against it. But since he did arrive, I remember saying quite clearly, now's the time. If you really want to win something and you don't care about the style of football, now is the time. You back him fully. And we didn't. We just gave him average players to work with, so we got average results. They worked wonders for a little while, so did Conte. And then it all falls apart again. We can't just keep making this mistake. We've got to stick with the managers and make sure the squad is the thing that's getting improved steadily. Because then even if a manager does walk away from the club, you've still got something. What happens with us is the manager leaves, the style of play goes out the window as well. And we've got this cobbled together squad that can't play one system or another. That's got to end. We've got to have this consistency now. Same manager, same style of play. Stick to your guns. And if it's going to take us a couple of seasons to get there, so be it. What I will tell you is sacking the manager does not get us anywhere. We've got a track record of this. And it doesn't matter what the manager is or the style of play you want to see. We've got to now stick with somebody. Really go for it. All in, as they say. And quite right. Alex will always bring up. Alex likes to bring up about what's happened at that noisy neighbours down the road, and I totally agree. Arsenal's actually a bit of a blueprint for what we need to do. Just stick with it. It's not working to start with. You still stick with it. You get that style of play embedded in the team and build on it.
You have to go through bad times to get to the good times. You have to get to the bad times to get to the good times, and that's why I say. Unfortunately, I don't like mentioning the ownership, but the only people that are going to change this culture of the fan base is the ownership. It's the ownership. The only people that are going to change people's minds and shut me up and say, you know what, now I'm on board now because I see change. Yeah, is when they stick with this man. When people are saying Ange out, that's why I'm saying to people, stop telling people to shut up about Ange out, because I'm saying, let them do it. That's putting more pressure on the board to stick with their philosophy. Stick with their philosophy. Stick with their man. You know what I mean? Because that's the only
London's
way you
best
know
manager. You're right.
What your plan is. Yeah. You only know with your own. Because the thing is, though, these people are not stupid. If they don't know, if they're listening to the fans after 24 years of being in charge of this club, we're in trouble. 24 years of being in charge of this club, and then know exactly what the fans want. 24 years, and they don't know what the Tottenham fans want. They need someone to tell them what to do. Come on now.
I'll tell you, Ainge
Buttons-
Postecoglou is like rain in the desert, and I have been dry, but oh, it is raining. The times are looking fantastic.
I mean,
I love
how
Ainge
does Liverpool?
Postecoglou.
He
Take
looks
it
like
down.
my dad as
How
well.
does-
so
how
I
does
can't
Liverpool-
hate him.
How does Liverpool owners know how to sort out their club and get Klopp in and stick with their man? How did Arsenal know that? Yeah, how did Arsenal know that? And we keep on bantering them, saying we've been top of them how many times? Yeah, I mean, we keep the
we
problem
have.
with our club. The problem with our club. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but unfortunately, this is why I call myself Mr. Box Office. When there's all this frustration, it's going to come out some way, and that's the way it comes, and that's it. Sorry about this, but the point I'm making is, why do we always talk about other clubs and not talk about ourselves?
Yeah.
Someone tell me. Because someone
Well,
tell
we
me.
do. I don't know who you're listening to, but it ain't
We all
United
like
Spurs
to
of
speak
America all the time.
Worry about ourselves.
I don't care
Real
about
quick,
Arsenal.
real
They
quick.
can go
I do. Sorry, Ellie. The show. I apologize, but I do got to wrap this up very, very shortly. And there's over 250 people, and there's like 110 people watching on Twitter right now, which is crazy. I don't think I've ever had over 100 people on Twitter watching. So if you're on Twitter and you're watching, head on over to the YouTube channel, hit a like and subscribe. Or just follow on Twitter if that's more your jam. No worries. But there is over 130 on YouTube and over 110 on Twitter. So big up to the over 235 people in the house right now. Obviously, there's been a few subjects that we've gone over. So if you tuned in late, you can always catch us back on playback on the YouTube channel. And if you are on the YouTube channel, hey, how you doing, you sexy motherfuckers? But look, we do got to wrap the show up. So I want to get some final thoughts from around the panel before I do that. I don't want to have to rush it off in a hurry, but my time is limited now. So Ellie, I rudely so cut you off. I'll start with you, as is customary as well. Royalty first. The queen shall go first. So do you have any final thoughts, real quick, maybe in like a minute or two, that you think, is it 4 windows for you? Do you feel like we're heading in a good direction? Take your final thought wherever you want, but the floor is yours.
Before I mention the windows, right, I was looking at our results, right, and they're not that bad, right? So we beat, if you go back to the Newcastle game, right, we won 3 on the trot, then we lost to Brighton, then we beat Bournemouth, we beat Burnley in the FA Cup, we drew with Man United, we lost to it. Man City in the FA Cup, then we beat Brentford, we drew with Everton, we beat Brighton, we lost to Wolves, we beat Palace. So we're not that far off what we were doing before. We're only 2 losses away, right? But those 2 losses, we would be, with our game in hand, we'd only be 2 points behind Arsenal if we didn't lose those 2 games. So it's do you know what? You know what Kate says? If butts and nut monkey nuts. I believe in that saying because we were so close. We were so close to being challenging for that league title. With those 2 losses, if we take those out of the equation, we would have been up there, right? So it isn't all doom and gloom, right? And like Alex said, I want to make a point. I don't like bantering other clubs. I prefer concentrating on our club. What we're doing. I don't care what other clubs are doing. They're insignificant to me, right? They're just other clubs. But we love Spurs, so we should be talking about what we're doing, all right? And in terms of
I don't know if
window,
you tune in very often, Ellie. Actually, I know that you do because you're in the comments every time.
Yeah, I do.
But I actually very seldom talk about rivals unless it's to make fun of them or to poke fun.
Yeah, I like to take the
crack a
mickey.
joke. I like doing that.
Talking about our club. But in
me
terms of
too.
the windows, I think we do need 3 or 4 more windows to get this right for Postecoglou. And I just hope, like at what Alex said, that we stick with him and stick with his philosophy and back him, right? Because if we don't back him, he's going to end up like Poch, 4 years, no trophies. And then they'll sack him, won't they? Because that's their trait, this board. That's what they like to do. Even though they loved Poch, they still sacked him at the end of the day and brought in Jose, right? So I'm hoping that they stick with this man because he has a very good philosophy on football, and I love him as a person as well. He's such a good talker, and he loves our club. You can see that his passion is with Spurs. All right, so I hope that they do stick with him.
I love it. I love it. Big up, Ellie. Thank you for joining. Even though late, it's always great to have you here. Paul,
Yeah.
do you have any final thoughts for us, man? You feel any other talking points that you just wanted to lastly end off on?
Yeah, look, I've been keeping track on the number of points we've gained or lost over equivalent fixtures last year, and I might be a point or two out because I'm, an idiot. But my latest reckoning is that we're 13 points up on last year. If we say, for example, if we beat Aston Villa this weekend, we lost that last year, so that would be another 3 points gained. So at the moment we're heading to 73 points. If we do that against Villa, we're heading for 76 points. That's more than 2 years ago when we got into Champions League. It's way more than the shit show last year, and that's with a few signings and Ange in charge, a few more signings and Ange in charge further. Then you start going to be looking at 80 points, 85 points, high, and then you start becoming challengers. I'm thinking we've got a shout next season, for example, and I've seen Ange's teams over the years when they've got the right players for that level and what the style of football is, and when it is brilliant. It is brilliant, and I see glimpses of that at Tottenham. So I've got no worries at all about Ange. Yeah, I've got some concerns about some of the players, but that's not changed. That's some of them have improved, but I don't think they've improved enough. I think a summer window, three signings, and I think we're going to be looking real good. So I'm incredibly optimistic. The thing that would show me that the board has changed a little bit would be if we don't finish in Champions League and Ange doesn't get sacked. Because what I like about the way Ange is approaching this season is he's not thinking top four or bust. Otherwise we would have played some janky football and sneaked a point when we lost or snuck 3 points when we drew. Ange does not give a fuck about top four. He really doesn't. So if we finish 6th and he's still in the job next year, I'm happy.
Yeah, I like it too. And I think that goes to the point that we were saying earlier, even like with other clubs, is Klopp first season 8th, Arteta first season 8th. I think third, second, fourth, something like that for Pep, but that's a little bit different. Kuva, we do got to round this out. And my friend, I'm curious to know what your final thoughts are, on this fine evening.
I'll just keep it nice and simple. I believe we've got the right manager now. I haven't believed that for several seasons. And it's just going to take faith. People are just going to have to hang on because we can't fix things mid-season. It's going to take transfer windows. But the fact is, we have built a squad over several seasons that hasn't been good enough. You can't fix that in one go. We've got the right manager in place. The club seem to be, so far, showing signs that we're going to be doing things a little bit differently with transfers and the whole setup. I think we've got some good players in, really good players in now. We just need to add to them and just get everybody back fit and on form. And I think by the time we start next season, I think we're going to be flying again. I believe in what we're doing.
Love it.
The only ones that are going to let me down is going to be the owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's very possible. That's very possible. Alex, final thoughts from you, my friend, before we wrap this up. And I do have to go. My wife just walked in. I do have to go in like 3 minutes. So what you got for me? Any final thoughts from you?
3 minutes for Mr. Box Office. Come on.
I'll just keep it short and sweet. Thank you for Jacob for having me on. Hopefully I wasn't sounding too direct on my text about things, but when it's about Tottenham, I'm just frustrated at the moment. So it's not anything against you or anything like that. It's just like I just get very frustrated when I hear the rubbish I have to hear, and it's the PR I've heard the last couple of days. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, big up to you, Jacob, for having me on, and respect to you as well. Respect to Mr. Box Office. Big up to you, Kuva. You know how much I adore you, mate. Big up to you, Paul. Stick to your opinion, Paul. Please don't change. Don't change, bro, for anyone.
Oh, it's
please.
certainly you, man. It's certainly you.
Yeah,
I mean, we
I won't
disagree,
change.
but we're
Don't
not
worry
being
about
dicks,
that,
you
bro.
know?
I will never change. But I'm just saying, bro, just never change. Don't let anyone tell you you're wrong, because you know, you know what I mean. Just don't have it. And Eddie, you know how much I love you, Eddie. You're the queen,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
love you
it, and
too,
everything, every
Alex.
single time. And all I will say is this: I'm not changing on Ange. I'm sorry. I never will change. I didn't change on Mourinho. I didn't change on any other manager since Poch. I've been too frustrated so far. I'm a happy guy. Alex is a happy guy doing what he's doing. Refresh, reset, restart. You know what I mean? Resets the body, and that's it. You'll see me more Mr. Box Office TV. It's just that, like I said, I'll try and refresh myself, and that's it. I'll just see more videos. Watch out for the video about Gallagher, by the way, because I've got that on
Oh,
and
no,
Telehook
more
as well,
Gallagher.
by the way.
That'll be an interesting
So
one.
keep watching, keep locked in, and that's it, really, and that's it. So
Big
but
up.
if you don't know, you should have got to know already and get to know. Back to you, Jacob. I'm done. If you
Big
don't
up,
know,
Alex.
get to know.
And for the first time in the history of this channel, we actually have more people watching on Twitter than we do on YouTube. That's absolutely phenomenal and crazy. So if you are on
There you
Twitter,
go.
hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Make sure you do follow and like the video, retweet it, or whatever the fuck X wants you to do these days. And then head on over to YouTube. Make sure you hit a like, subscribe on the YouTube channel. But big up, there's over 240 people watching this show right now. So I want to say the descriptions for every single person on this panel is in the channel for every person on this panel is in the description of this video. So please do hit a like over there on their channels as well. Show them some love. I will be redirecting you over to TJ Warren. He's an absolute fraud. So when you go over there, say Jacob Raid, you're a fraud. All right. He is a fraud. He makes poor decisions in life, like supporting the Gooners. But he's right now apologizing to Arteta like a groveling dog. So go on over there, make some fun of him. But if you go on over there, do hit a like and subscribe if you
I
can.
will.
He's on the road to 1K, so show some love to him. And then he'll be sending you over to Hassam with A-listers after that. So still plenty of stuff coming
When
up
those gooners
tonight on the YouTube.
joke
Oh,
again, they'll all be
A-listers.
again, won't they?
But you know what?
We were the
If
A-listers.
everyone in the chat went over there and started just bombarding it, just spam it. I don't give a damn. Go over there, spam it. You're a fraud. Just spam, you're a fraud. I'll put it in the chat so you can copy and paste. Here, I'll make it real easy. Oh, shit, I clicked the wrong button. Hang on. Make it real easy. TJ, you're a fraud. There you go. I put it in the chat. Copy that. Paste it. Spam it. Overwhelm him and subscribe because he is a
I
fraud.
like
So.
TJ. I like TJ.
Yeah, I like him as a person outside of his football takes. But
Yeah.
that's why you should go on over there, mud him, help him get to 1K. He is a good guy, and I do a weekly show called American Waffle on Staffy TV with him. So go show some love to other content creators, even if they are
Also, big
frauds.
up to Staffy as well, by the way. He's
Yeah,
a real one. He's a real
big
one.
up Staffy
he
every
knows
single
his football.
time.
He knows his
And
football.
big up
that guy.
everyone who came and tapped in. Let me make sure I say hello and thank you to the the sponsors of tonight's show. Boogs upgrading his membership to the Talk to Me Nicely Club. Love to see that, Boogs. Hope to see you more in the chat. Kuva, he joined us on panel and in chat with the super chat. Appreciate that, Kuva. George gifting a membership and Panda Ball to round it out with the super chat. Appreciate that, Panda Ball. And thank you to the sponsors tonight. All right. Yeah. But big up everybody. Make sure you do hit a like on the way out. I'm going to end the poll. What did we end with? 55%. Yes, Sonny, Son. Y'all agree with me that Son is the future number 9. He is the one we need now. He is the one we need in the future. So when we approach the market, don't talk about Tony. Don't talk about Vlahovic. Talk to me about Kvaratskhelia, Nico Williams. We need a top-class winger. That's what I want in the summer. And, of course, there's other supplemental pieces. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. But if you're on YouTube, go on over to TJ Warren, call him a fraud, and we'll see you next time on the next episode. So, as always, folks, stay blessed, stay fresh, up the lads, and come on, you Spurs. Kuva.
United Spurs of America with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.